Hello, I'm your host and love coach, Nikki Lee, and welcome to Ready for Love Radio. On this show, we're going to take the hour to get closer to nature, and we're going to learn about spirit animals. We're going to learn more about ourselves, and we're going to dig a little deeper. We're going to find out how nature and animals can relate to us, and we can relate to them. Won't you join me? Hello, and welcome to Ready for Love Radio. This is your host and love coach, Nikki Lee. Let me start off by saying that it is so good to be back on the air and back with brand new shows. Now, I don't know if you're aware, but I have been battling with cataracts for over 6 months. And that is why I have been sharing some of my original shows. I actually, for most of this year, there have been a couple new ones tossed in there, but for most of this year, I went all the way back to the beginning and shared some of the original shows that I did at the very beginning, back about 8, almost 9 years ago. And because I knew that new listeners, of course, and even some of the very regular listeners hadn't heard the original shows. So those are the ones that I dug through and found, and there's great stuff in the archives. So I went back through those, and those are ones that I hadn't put onto the new archive site yet. So I found some great stuff, dug through that, and shared those. And I enjoyed hearing them because I hadn't heard them in years either. So went through and shared those and replayed them and got them put on the site too. So, but I just finished up having the 2 surgeries and can see again, and it was rough. It was rough, but I've got that all done and can see better than I've seen in years, and so I'm back. I can see to see my notes, to do my research for shows, to see things, to communicate with potential guests, and the book that I've been working on with Dr. K is complete. It is complete, and we've got it released, and it's on Amazon now. And actually, I've recorded a show with her, and that will be airing next week. So, and that's show number 400. So we'll be sharing that. So just all kinds of exciting things going on. And since we haven't had a new spirit animal show this year, I've missed doing those because I love finding out new stuff. So we're doing one of those this week. So, and actually the research took a little longer than it should have because I found some great videos and had a great time researching dragonflies, would you believe? So I think after this show, you're going to, next time you see a dragonfly, I think you're going to look at it a little bit differently. So I know I'm not going to swat at the next dragonfly that I see. I can guarantee you that. So, dragonflies, spirit animal, totem animal, animal of power. What can I tell you about dragonflies? And Chloe's right here next to me, so she's all ready to learn about dragonflies too. So, and I've got some great videos that I'm going to share on the show page. So lots of great stuff. So dragonfly, and let me let you know up front, the biggest show that was downloaded last year, I can tell you that because it's been a year now that I've got the site up with downloads and tracking those. The biggest number of downloads of any of my shows last year was the Hummingbird Spirit Animal Show. Floored me. I couldn't believe that was the biggest one. But it was the biggest number of downloads by far. By far. And there's a lot of stuff in this show about dragonflies that's going to remind you of the hummingbird. That was an interesting thing about the research, too. So the flexibility and the unique design, sounds kind of funny to say design, but it's true, of the creation. That's good design, creation, either one of those, whichever one works better for you, of the dragonfly, is absolutely fascinating. So, has your life changed in the blink of an eye? Is it challenging? Do you need to kind of zig and zag? And are you seeing the big picture? Are you looking at life from all the potential angles? Maybe, how sometimes we go through life and you get kind of a narrow view of things, or maybe you look at somebody else and they get kind of in a rut, and it's easier for us to see this in other people. But we look at another person, and it's like they're going through life with blinders on. Okay? As we talk about the dragonfly, you're going to realize that the dragonfly does not go through life with blinders on. So if the dragonfly is your spirit animal or your totem animal, you are not that kind of person. Or if the dragonfly is your spirit animal, or you start seeing dragonflies, or they come to you in a dream, they could be trying to tell you that you are looking at things in a limited way, and you need to open your mind and start looking in a more broad, flexible sort of way. Because the dragonfly teaches you flexibility, and that you need to take in the big picture. You need to look in a broader way. And if you've ever looked at a dragonfly, you'll see that their wings have a look that's very, very unique. It's kind of a look of illusion. It's very colorful and shimmery, glossy, very just a couple of the videos that I got actually show the look. So if you've never seen it or you're not familiar with it, go to the show page and take a look. And the show page is www.lovecoachjourney.com/dragonfly. And it's DRAGONFLY. And like I said, I've got several of those on there for you to take a look at. Or you can Google Dragonfly, or whichever search engine you prefer. Okay, so you want to think about, if you're thinking about dragonflies, think illuminate, support, and guide you. That's the main things that a dragonfly is going to do for you. So now let's start out with a quote about dragonflies. It says, "I can see only a dragonfly, its wings as thin and light as silk, and its body the color of a rainbow. But on the wings of the dragonfly I take off and fly. For my soul carries no weight. It is our bodies, these borrowed vehicles of flesh and bone, that weigh us down. Our spirits are eternally free and invincible." Eternally free and invincible. That'll remind you of the dragonfly as we go along. Now, at some point we're going to talk about butterflies, but their biggest thing is transformation. So think about a butterfly. You've got the larva in the cocoon, and they transform into a butterfly. Okay? A dragonfly does the same thing. The egg is laid, it turns into a larva. And then it also, then after that, turns into a dragonfly. Now, the main common meanings of this spirit animal is change and transformation, adaptability. Boy, has it got adaptability and flexibility. Joy, lightness of being, symbol of the realm of emotions, an invitation to dive deeper into your feelings, and that is literal with the dragonfly. It's an incredible hunter, and being on the lookout for illusions and deceit, whether external or on a personal level. And it can be connecting with nature spirits and fairies, if that's of interest to you, with the spirit realm, mythological, that sort of thing. And when you take a look at a dragonfly, it's kind of got that mythical, fairy kind of look about it. Okay? And actually, in some countries, and over the centuries, there are some countries that actually put pictures of dragonflies on their shields to kind of mess with the minds of the people that they were fighting. So, just something to kind of put in the back of your mind to think about. So, now, dragonflies have an absolutely fascinating, and this is why I got so distracted with my research. They have the most fascinating wing construction. And I got two or three videos on YouTube that I found, and two are really short and one's a little bit longer, but they show you from a couple different angles how their wings are different from the basic wing structure. And because most wings work on one principle, so they move together, okay, which we see with birds and most insects and that kind of thing. But their wings, they have 4 wings, not 2, which is different. And then their wings also move, each one moves individually, which allows them to move in, six different directions? So they can move up and down, side to side, front to back. So they can actually fly up or down, left to right, and front to back. Okay, 6 directions. Yeah, sorry, I had to figure that out. So imagine they can actually fly backwards if they want to. That's incredible. So there's actually scientific research going on how their wings work and function to create robots that'll fly in like all new directions. I don't know. I find it fascinating. So anyway, so if you're fascinated by that sort of thing, definitely take a look at this. But I'd look at it anyway, just because it's interesting and unique. So, like I said, there's a kind of mythical, magical kind of element to them, and in folklore, okay. There's an idea in folklore that human eyes might not otherwise see this mythological element, might not even notice that there is this element that could be seen. So, like maybe they're our messengers, Okay, there if you want to see it. And if not, that's okay too. Now, the natural, here's the elements that may remind you of the hummingbird. Let's take a look at the physical elements, natural elements of the dragonfly. It's very powerful and graceful. It can fly. Now just think about what is it, 16 centimeters? Okay, and I don't have the conversion to inches, I'm sorry. It has the possibility of flying, and this is going to mess with you, up to 45 miles an hour. Seriously, it's an insect, and it can fly up to 45 miles an hour. It can change direction just in air without having to do anything special. Can fly backwards. And, I mean, it's a bug, and it can do all these things. I just find that fascinating. Now, when the eggs are laid, it's got to be laid in water. That's where it's hatched, and that's where it lives initially. And I was looking at one of the videos, and it's one of the ones that's on the show page, and it was talking about some of the most effective animals of prey that we think about, like eagles, hawks, owls, some of the most effective big cats of prey, that kind of thing. And they're normally, when they're studied, 25, 35% effective, that kind of thing. And I think there was one Australian dog, I think it was, that at its most effective is like 60, 65% effective when it's hunting other animals. But the dragonfly, okay, and I'm not kidding. This is what my research showed. The dragonfly is over 90% effective when it's hunting for food. That's crazy. I mean, unbelievable. But here's a couple of the reasons, okay? One of them is because of the ability that it has when it flies, okay? Being able to fly at the speed it is, that certainly helps. The flexibility with how it flies certainly helps. It can hover, it can glide. The 45 miles an hour definitely helps because it can outfly most of the things. Being able to zigzag and go in all the different directions and all that sort of thing, that helps. Now, its eyes, okay, if you look at one up close, eyes are crazy and they're big. Okay, now not only that, but the eyes in this, being what I just went through with the cataracts and all that and the funky surgery and stuff, the eyes of a dragonfly, 30,000 lenses in it. Can't even imagine. I honestly can't comprehend that right now. I'm going to continue to think about that. Right now, can't comprehend that. But imagine 30,000 lenses, and it has a line of sight of like 360 degrees. They were showing in one of the videos what that looks like. That is crazy to even see what that looks like. Okay. And they were showing like how that focuses, and they were showing how the mind of the dragonfly uses that when it's hunting. You got to look at these videos. They're just amazing. Okay, all right. Enough about that. But you seriously, you should take a look at these videos. They're amazing to look at. Okay. Let me see. Yeah, 30,000 lenses. I just, like I said, next time I go to the ophthalmologist, I'm going to have to mention that to her. That's amazing. Okay. So when the dragonfly comes into our life as a spirit animal, it could be because we're taking things too seriously and we're losing the joy in our life. And so it comes in, and it's teaching us that we need to restore the lightness, the joy, and this kind of thing in our life and in our mental processes. How often do we not have joy in our thoughts and in how we think about things? We can actually have more joy in our thoughts, and that translates into how we do things, and find the positive no matter how dark and how discouraging things are. And I can tell you that even with the times that I spent in the hospital with like after my dissection, which overwhelming doesn't even begin to describe the state of mind I was in at that point. And especially when I woke up from the surgery and basically could not move. And the doctor wouldn't let me move. I mean, his body wouldn't move, and then she wouldn't let me do hardly anything because of the potential hazard if I moved the wrong way. The state of mind and the thought processes and how you deal with things, there are ways to deal with and even to confront that sort of thing. That's like I've got a friend who had just gone through a battle with cancer a year ago and is facing it again this year. I mean, no kidding, within 12 months. And she sent me a picture last week. She had just had her brother shave her head because she's going through chemo now, and had a huge smile on her face. And I mean, it literally, I started crying when I saw the smile, because I was so happy to see her smiling. I mean, I know she's going through a horrible time, and I mean, after my battle with cancer, I can only imagine everything that she's dealing with right now. But even being able to have that big a smile, that made me so happy to see her being able to do that. So it's, and I'm not saying that she's not going through a horrible trial right now, because she is. But being able to have that smile is a huge step in the right direction. So it's I hope the gist of what I'm trying to say is coming across. So I'm sending lots of dragonfly spirit animal energy to her. So it's the kind of thing that there are going to be huge trials that we're going to have to face. But the thing is, not letting ourselves get into that dark space and stay there. There is a positive. It can be really hard to find sometimes. It's really hard to get out of even the, why me? And but it is possible. It is possible to find a positive, and sometimes it's just, I woke up this morning. I mean, I've been in a coma for days and days at a time. So I mean, every morning I wake up, I'm thrilled I woke up, because there's been plenty of days that I didn't. So what? Another thing with the dragonfly is tied intimately to our emotional state. What feelings are we hiding? Hiding feelings is a thing that we may do naturally, and there's a lot of reasons why we do it. Sometimes it's to protect ourselves from things we don't want to deal with. I've done it. I remember vividly the ones I did, and I remember why I did it. I also remember, I remember hiding and not dealing with certain things, and then having nightly nightmares about it until I did deal with it. And sometimes it just required that I got it out, and sometimes I just had to tell somebody that was close to me about it. And once I got it, literally got it out of me and told somebody about it, that helped. I had to stop keeping it in me, or I had to stop keeping it to myself. Sometimes just hiding it and burying it within us is more than we can take. We've got to get it out. So it's the kind of thing we have to, and the dragonfly may be telling us, you got to get it out. You got to get it out. So are there feelings that you need to explore more deeply and get out of you? Are they holding you back? That's a big thing that we explored in the book that Dr. K and I worked on. Is there something from your past that is buried that you need to get out, that's holding you back from having a good relationship with yourself or being able to have a good relationship with somebody else? If so, you're certainly not the only person. There's a whole lot of people doing that. Okay, the dragonfly totem animal. Now, the totem has the wisdom of transformation and adaptability in life. It may remind you to bring back that lightness and joy into your life and to delve deeper into your emotions and shine through your true colors. Now, if you look at the dragonfly, when it moves its wings, when it flaps its wings, you're going to notice, especially in the sunshine, all the different colors of the rainbow. Beautiful. Actually, beautiful when it flaps its wings. It sounds kind of funny to say flaps its wings for an insect. But when the wings move, you see all those different colors. So it helps us to show our true colors also. And I was thinking, when you think about an animal that has wings and the colors and all that, we think of the peacock, right? Well, the peacock, the wings are solid, and they spread those wings and they're very pretty, but they're solid wings, right? They're solid wings, and it's very ornate, But now with the dragonfly, you can see those wings, but they're also translucent, and you can see right through those wings. I'm just curious if maybe there's a reason for that. So maybe that's to help us see through things. Maybe to help us see through ourselves and to see through others. Like maybe if somebody's trying to deceive us or to put on a show for us, and the dragonfly is there to help us to see through them. Could be. All right. Now, part of the changes that the dragonfly might be helping us with is changes that part of our journey. That I talk about, and a lot of my guests talk about, the journey that we're on. And Susan and I talked about that a lot in the different shows that we did. and that we're all on a journey throughout our life, right? So, and there's changes as we go through this journey, and that's not bad. As we grow, and things change as we grow from being a child to being a teen to being when we're first an adult, and then we get our first job, or we go to college, or get out of college and get married, or have a different relationship, or have kids, and all these things create various changes in us and in our lives. And that's not bad, because we grow and change throughout our life, right? So sometimes people can be very resistant to change. But maybe the dragonfly is saying, to succeed in life, we have to embrace change. And change can be really good. So maybe just kind of see what's happening, and what can this change bring? and are we being true to ourselves? Are we being authentic? We have to be true to ourselves. It's hard to be really happy in your life if you aren't being true to yourself. If you know that there's something that you need in your life and you're not doing it. Now, I'm not saying want, because sometimes you may want, a fancy sports car. I mean, I would like to I would like to have a convertible and a house at the beach and a nice off-roading vehicle and a nice cabin in the woods, and to be able to write full time. I mean, there's a lot of things I want, but I don't need all those things to be happy. It wouldn't make me unhappy, but I don't need all those things, So, but there's certain things that we need to feel complete. Okay, there's certain things that we need to feel complete and fulfilled as a person. Like I did not feel okay, like if I was unable to do my show and to write and to help people, I did not feel complete when I was not writing. Because I need to be creative, and I need to have a creative outlet. Okay, so I had to find something that I could do to be creative, even when I wasn't writing. That was just, it wasn't that I just wanted to write or wanted to be creative. I needed to be creative. And when I wasn't doing something and using my creativity, I felt something very lacking in my life. Now, if you're not a creative person, you may not understand that. But people that are very, very musically oriented are the same way. They need to pick up an instrument and play. They need to do that, There's just certain things that some of us need to do in our lives. So that's being true to yourself, okay? And doing those things that give you a purpose and make you feel fulfilled. Sorry, that's a little tough to say some days. Okay, now, adaptability is a big thing with the dragonfly. The easiest way to see that is in how they fly, which I mentioned. If you watch a dragonfly in flight, okay, and I've got the videos for you to see, you can see that they go up and down, they change very easily, they can glide through the air, and it looks effortlessly. It's amazing what they do. Okay, now, think about that. Obviously, we can't just, go running and fly through the air. It'd be interesting, but we can't. Okay, how can we take that inspiration and convert it into our lives? We could take that by being adaptable and flexible in situations that come to us. Okay, say that we have one idea of how to approach a subject, okay, or one idea of how to do a project or something, okay? Well, say that way isn't available right now, but we still know we want to do something or we need to do something. Okay, like I was trying to put my show out, but I knew that I literally could not see, okay? And I said, okay, well, I'm still going to put a show out every week, but I literally cannot see the screen, so I can't edit the show. Or I can do very little editing, I just can't do much. So I said, okay, what can I do? So there was no way I could edit an hour show because I couldn't see that. Or even when I was trying to finish up the book, I said, okay, I couldn't see things on a white background. So I said, okay, well, I can't see anything on a white background, and when I open things up in Word, it's on a white background. What am I going to do? So what I did is I got to looking at the program, and lo and behold, I could turn the background a different color. So I turned the background dark, and I turned the words white, and I could see them. It was kind of a pain in the neck because I had to go back through and reconvert everything, but it made it so I could work. So there is pretty much always another way to do things, but you gotta be flexible, And when I was putting the shows together, I went through my old archives and said, okay, what haven't I converted and put in the archives? And I got out a magnifying glass, and I held the magnifying glass up to the computer screen and used that, and then I sent it over to Ray, and I said, okay, double check my spelling and make sure I put the right name, otherwise the program won't pull it up and error for me. So sometimes you gotta have a little help from a friend. So there's a way to make it happen. It just, you got to get creative with it. So we can get things done just like a detour, The other day we had a massive storm come through and roads were blocked, but you can find a way to make things work. Okay, so what about when you're stuck in a situation and you need assistance to get a new perspective, okay? The solution might be there, but you have to attack it from a different angle, right? So just like the dragonfly, they've got 4 wings, they've got 30,000 lenses in their eyes, and they've got an agile mind. So here again, if the dragonfly said, well, I'm only going to fly straight, I'm not going to look off to the sides, and if the bug doesn't come to me, I'm not going to eat, it would starve. So it understands that it's got to get creative. Now, let me see. That's that adapting to changing situations quickly. Dragonfly is a master of doing that. So fresh perspective, adjusting accordingly, and soaring above the problems, looking at the big picture. Sometimes the dragonfly's got to go under its prey and then go up and catch it. So that's all things that we can do to know the truth of a situation, the truth about a person, you know. So it's always that we can use mindfulness, being aware, and all those kind of things. It's the same thing the dragonfly is doing, but we can also do that to make sure that we know what's really going on. Now, what about if you're dreaming of a dragonfly? Okay, if a dragonfly comes to you in a dream, it's probably telling you that either there's a change coming or that you need to change something. Now, I want you to think about this next thing before you smack at a dragonfly that's coming at you. If a dragonfly lands on you, that's supposed to be there's a good change coming. But if you come across a dragonfly that's dead, that means there's a bad change. Okay, so no more smacking and killing the dragonflies. So if the dragonfly in your dream is moving fast from place to place, it's supposed to be a sign to live life fully in the present. So is there something holding you back? Are you waiting for something? Maybe you shouldn't. Or do you dare to fly fast and free and go after what you want? Now, main thing I can sum up in one sentence the whole idea of dreams with dragonflies. Dragonfly dreams stress upon the need for freedom and activity. They symbolize regeneration and change, or indicate instability, restlessness, and the possibility that something isn't right in your life. Therefore, need to change. Now, that's the short story, but a little bit more detail, okay? Let me see. If the dragonflies come into your dreams, all right, think about it that, let's see. Dragonfly is born in the water, okay, so it's deeply connected to the elements. This means dragonflies are associated with dreams, emotions, and intuition, and deep subconscious. So if the dragonfly is in your dreams, it's telling you to pay attention to the dreams in the future, because there's going to be more information coming to you. All right? Intuition is a big thing, and to tune into your intuition, not to be ignoring it. Dragonfly has a small, light body and gives the viewer a sense of its light and it dances around, darts back and forth, and just flits around. You know how bugs do. And that light feeling is one of the key dream meanings. All right, it brings the joy and the happiness and prosperity and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so it's not just the context of the dream, but it's the tone. Okay, it's exploring the possibilities, being open to the possibilities, not closing yourself off from the possibilities. Another thing, the dragonfly is territorial, right? And what it does too is, now it may live in the water and on the surface of the water, but what it'll do is it flies up over the water, okay? And it can fly straight up. So it flies up over the water, so it has an elevated kind of perspective, okay? So it watches over the whole area. Remember those eyes and the 360-degree perspective it's got? So it looks over the whole area, and it flies over the surface of the water, okay, in the area right around the water. And so it keeps an eye over the whole area. So are we watching over our area and our home and our family, and watching out for ourselves and our loved ones, and being ready for things that may come up, and things that might come out of our subconscious and even our unconscious mind that may creep up and cause problems. Because you know, weird things creep up sometimes. So now, and remember that the dragonfly has those colorful wings, the iridescent wings, okay, and when they move, it seems like the colors are changing. So that's the changing, okay? So change is coming. So could also mean promises are going to be fulfilled. Okay, because promises fulfilled, that can create change in a different sort of way. All right, so are we prepared for situations, no matter what situations and conditions we might face? Because you never know. Now, we've got this, okay, the dragonfly has the ability to fly across the ocean. Okay, it's got multifaceted, I think 30,000 lenses, definitely multifaceted eyes. Okay, if you see it in your dreams, so the message can say that you definitely need to take on a new point of view. So are you looking at all the angles of a situation? Are you looking at the big picture? And you know, sometimes we may be looking at all sides from our point of view, but if we're doing something, say we're getting into a project with somebody else, are we considering their point of view? Are we looking at it from, say, our spouse's point of view? What about from a child's point of view or a friend's point of view? Oh, how about a parent's point of view? It's not just our point of view. If we're doing something with someone else, are we considering how it's going to affect them? All right. Now, a couple specific dreams. Dreaming of a dragonfly attacking or stinging you means that you've been wrong or hurt heartlessly by somebody. Could also mean that you've dealt insensitively with somebody. Eating a dragonfly in your dream means that you have a singular passion due to that you're not bothered with what other people would be offended by your conduct. Dreaming about a giant dragonfly means that you have some kind of a insecurity. That's interesting. Dreaming about a dragonfly landing on yourself promises good news from somebody far away. And seeing a dead dragonfly points at bad news that you would receive soon. A blue dragonfly looks forward to a fulfilling time ahead, abandoning old constraints, and you'll be blessed with wealth and prosperity. A black dragonfly suggests something good is going to happen soon, and it may also mean some kind of remembrance of somebody close that has died. A white dragonfly in your dream suggests that you're ready to enjoy life as fortune is on your way. A red dragonfly may have both good and bad implications, refers to better times ahead, or it can symbolize the death of a loved one. An orange dragonfly stands for warmth, balance, and enthusiasm. And a brown dragonfly in your dream marks your intellectual and spiritual awakening. Okay, I think I'm voting for the brown one. So, and a pink or a purple dragonfly stands for love and affection you have for yourself as well as others. All right, purple and brown. That's the ones I want. All right. Just a couple things about other cultures and dragonfly symbolism. Japan made the dragonfly its national emblem, and let me see, a symbol of joy and rebirth. Native American traditions made it a symbol of hearted souls. It's Mayan tradition has a dragonfly is emblematic of the goddess of creativity. Ooh, I like that. Let's see. In Japan, it's also a symbol of victory, strength, and courage. It's respected to the extent that the first emperor said they call his land the island of the dragonflies. Let's see. It's regarded as representing summer and being the guardian angel of the rice plant. Ooh, that's important in Japan. Buddhist teaching connects dragonflies with life's innermost truths, signifying the noble path man should take to attain true wisdom. With flexibility, change, and super wonderful eyesight, that would work. And in Egyptian culture, Egyptians frequently depicted the dragonfly on their shields, clothes, and personal adornments to wish their soldiers would emulate them in war. In pagan cultures, dragonflies are looked upon as magical creatures just like butterflies, because both male and female dragonflies are armed with the capacity to change their color with age. Interesting. I think the dragonfly is fascinating. Oh, and if you want to get into mythology, just a little Irish mythology for you. In Irish mythology, the wee ones, otherwise known as leprechauns, use dragonflies as horses to get from one place to the next in the blink of an eye. So, and Celtic symbolism says that dragonflies have the ability to see true and, and with the ancient powerful dragons who were the guardians of the sacred stones and magical wells. And if you believe that the earth was here 300 million years ago, there is a belief that dragonflies were much, much, much bigger than they are now. To being up to, I think it was up to being about 6 feet wingspan. So much bigger than they are now. So lots and lots of interesting information about the dragonflies. So I will share the videos on the show page the replay of tonight's show, and I will also share an article about dragonflies. It'll be linked to the show page as well. So lots of information. So I hope you enjoyed the show. I had a blast researching the dragonflies. And we'll do another show soon. So, like I said, I hope you enjoyed the show as much as I did. And I've got a whole bunch of other animals that we can talk about in the near future. So feel free to let me know what you think anytime you want to. There's a contact page on the website, and you can always email me anytime at readyforloveradio@gmail.com. And I hope your summer is going great. And I'll be with you next time on. Oh, and next week, don't forget, next week is show 400. And Dr. K will be with me, and we'll be talking about Am I Normal If? I can't wait. So I'll be with you next time on Ready for Love Radio.